To an extent, yes. The difference for me would be I don't trust when people say that they know what they need.
Right, right.
So I'm going to take an educated guess
Hmm.
and test it, get feedback, check the validity of the feedback, tweak, repeat. Because if
Okay.
I try to let every single person dictate everything in my business, I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
This is the online trainer show, trainer show, trainer show. This is the online trainer show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.
Oh, since you've been gone.
No, no, no,
Is that
Jonathan.
Kelly Clarkson? That's I was trying to place the song.
How
Yeah.
was my singing off a little bit too much from Kelly?
Yeah,
For
no,
me,
it
it
was.
sounded
That's why I
exactly.
was like, yeah, it's like identical, and I'm like, why can't I remember the name of the person because it sounds exactly like it. That's what it was.
You
Well, yeah,
sounded.
we were on a first name basis, me and Kelly, but then I started calling her K to the Ellie, and she stopped returning my calls.
She stopped talking to you. Can't blame
my
her.
Stopped returning my calls.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why she stopped talking to you, John. Um, yeah, your musical rendition was so dead on that I thought my eyes were failing me. I was like, I know Kelly Clarkson has to be here. Why can't I see her? It must be macular degeneration. That's what I was thinking. It's like an eye test.
Generally,
It's like an
people
eye
are so impressed with my singing that their eyes water. It's a common reaction I get.
It's because they're
That's pain.
impressed. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that's pain. That's exactly what that is. So I've been doing things today, right? It's important that you knew this. Yeah, I've been doing things today, and amongst I can never amongst the things that I've been doing, I got juicy mouthed it when I said that. My mouth got real juicy. You ever get juicy mouthed it? Amongst
I
the
don't
thing,
ever want to hear you say the words "juicy mouth" together.
it's not juicy mouthed. It's juicy
If you-
mouthed it.
If you are gonna say it, you need to say it with a bit of a slur in your voice. I got toothy mouth.
You
have to say it like that.
It's juicy mouthed it.
This is
in
terrible.
any case, what was I talking about? Damn it. Things I've been doing because I've been doing things today. So I'm just about ready to launch my new signature program that I won't mention here. I got billed the last time that I mentioned my business. I got slapped with an invoice from.
Who did you think that you were trying to pull that one past us?
Pull a fast one. You try to pull a fast one, Clarence. You won't get one past me. That's what Jonathan said. He said that in a voicemail. He sent me one of his automated cards that he sends out for his birthday. And when I opened it up, it had audio with it. It was like, you've been caught. Yeah, you can't put one past me, ready? That's what it said. In any case, so I'm about ready to launch this thing. I don't know why you guys keep interrupting this riveting story about my day so far. And I've done a pre-sale list. So I've gotten clever enough to gather up some people, founding client challenge style, for a pre-sale, introductory, an unbelievable introductory offer. So I just want to mention that because I'm really excited about it. It's been a journey. It's been a journey for me from where I was to the 3 months that I didn't enroll people to all the amazing advice given here over the last several weeks with permission and marketing. I threw some permission marketing in there. We had some, Jonathan talked about making a juicy mouthed offer, I think is what he called it in the previous episode. How to get your
I think
in
it was
offer.
It was called a toothy mouth. Toothy mouth offer.
No. So Jonathan taught me how to get my offer juicy mouthed. There was something else that we talked about. Keto and sort of teasing your way to the launch. Giving people little
Right.
bits at a time. I think she called it the burlesque method of launching. The,
I
between
didn't, but that's a good one. Just use it. Use it. Run with it.
I'm using it. Between burlesque launching, juicy mouthed offerings, and permission marketing, I feel like I'm well on my way to a successful launch here. Amber's got Triscuits. What are those, Cheez-Its? Amber, you on the Cheez-Its again? Oh, sweet Lord. She's back on the sauce. Speaking of, I saw some information out there that said Tipsy Kettle was a hit. I think Amber shared that information with us. Yeah.
Yes.
Tipsy Kettle seems to be a big deal. You're trending in the community, Kettle. So
Thank you.
I
I'm
said
very
all
proud.
that to yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're proud of you as well. So I said all that to say that I'm about to execute this launch next week, and I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more excited. I'm so excited I won't mention anything else more about it, lest I be fined once again by the attorneys for Jonathan. The attorneys for Jonathan Goodman.
We have very strong and very aggressive legal counsel.
Yes.
They're really angry. They're really angry.
Yeah. Yeah. They do
Two-
not let up.
Two of them are moose, so that's something that you
And
gotta
the other
consider.
one is a Canadian goose, and those are the
Right.
worst. We know,
Yeah,
like those are
those geese don't
the
play.
leader one. No,
Yeah,
nope.
the moose mises the mai. I don't know the plural. The mai were like you mess with the Goodman, you get the horns. And the geese were like, you're gonna be invoiced. Just put it on my bill. You see what I did there?
Oh, but
There you go.
Oh,
There you
wow,
go. You're,
wow.
You're,
Well done.
you're
well
welcome,
done.
North America and Lithuania.
You're
So-
cracking me up.
Oh, man.
Should I tell the duck joke again?
No,
No.
never tell the
Should I tell the-
duck joke again.
Can I
Never
tell
tell
the
it
duck
again.
joke again?
Never tell it again.
Never.
So we're here for another spectacular episode. There's a lot of interesting and scintillating things going on. Keto's texting away. She's working the thumbs overtime.
I am not texting away. I was trying to get a pen. Look, it's an actual pen. Remember
Carol's
these?
texting so much, and she's been scrolling social media so much that she's developed trigger finger in her thumb. It's like,
Right.
She was
just
telling
goes
me
off.
before, her finger like twitches. Yeah, this joint right at the base
That's
of her
not
thumb.
true.
Keto.
That is not true.
Keto, I sincerely hope you're not taking notes about this podcast, because that'd be a complete waste of your time. Like
I'm
don't-
writing down like, is the plural of moose meese?
Okay, thank you. That's,
No, I
that's
looked
helpful.
it up. I looked it up. The plural of moose is literally moose.
I thought so.
Oh,
I
I was joking, Jonathan. Even I know that, and English is not my first language, so that was a joke, man.
Can I ask you a serious question, Carolina?
Who?
meaning to
Oh
ask
yes,
this for a long
of
time,
course. Very serious.
she has to change her posture for a serious question.
Very serious. Serious.
Do you think that you're better than me?
I'm
Because
convinced.
you're acting like you think
I am
like you're better
convinced,
than me.
without a shadow of a doubt. No, I'm kidding. I do believe, however, that I'm better than a lot of people out there. I'm not gonna lie. I do think of myself as better than
I'm sure. I think
That's
that's good.
great.
Yeah, Amber is giving me like, oh well, facts are facts.
Right.
Thank you, Amber. I appreciate that.
It is what it is. So I want to go to Amber here. It's something we don't do this early in the broadcast. I think we should shake it up. So Amber, what's going on with you? I know that you've released some more Notion updates. I got a note from you that I have a dashboard in Notion now. You're the queen of Notion. Notion's one of the programming. I don't even know what it is. It's one of the apps, website, programming
It's
languages.
software.
Software.
It's
yeah.
software. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's software that we use here in the annals of PTDC. It's backdoor software in the annals.
In
And
the what? In
That
the what
sounds
then?
terrible. Like,
the
back
annals.
door.
Like
By
the hall,
like,
the
wait, what?
annals of history.
It is
back
very
door.
important to enunciate. Today's lesson.
I'm just
back door.
I'm just talking about the backdoor channel annals that we use in the PTDC, and how Amber's so masterful at that. And so you've been doing a lot of building of the PTDC, Amber. Like I'm starting to realize what a total bag of crap it was before you got involved here. Having experienced both. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good at first. Now I look back on it, I'm like, no, this was a bag of glass. This is a bag of rusted nails before you got involved in it. So how's that going for you? Because we rarely ask you how your day or week has been, Amber. Are things okay? The people want to know. You doing well?
I don't even know. Like my mind, like literally just went blank. I panicked.
All right, good.
Everything was good. Yes, did personal dashboards for all the mentors, so that way, hopefully, it's easier on you guys to do your job, so you're not
Right.
wasting time trying to find crap.
Okay.
We're building a play set for Nate in the front yard,
Nice.
which I'm a little terrified that we're gonna start making friends all of a sudden.
Probably so.
So I'm not sure how to deal with that. But yeah, that's really about it.
If I was close by there and there was a play set, you would have to deal with my friendship randomly being forced on you and Nate.
I
That's
would just show up.
yeah. I'd just be there.
Yeah, everybody here would be fine. It's the random people I haven't met in the neighborhood that all of a sudden want to be friends.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
worried
That's
about.
that's nice. I show up with my juice
Why build a
cup.
big fence?
Yeah. No, don't build it. You know, we build bridges, Amber, not fences.
Build fence.
That's what.
I have a fence.
That's what we do. Build a bridge over the front. So, Keto, you've been doing things.
I've been doing things, and also this one right here is my last episode because I'm going camping in Algonquin and I won't be here for Thursday. And so this is the last time that I am joining you guys in this spectacular broadcast.
No, there's no last episode, Keto. That's a ruse. Just disregard that. That's what I did.
Mine. I said
yeah.
mine.
Yeah. Just come back Tuesday. We'll still be here. So.
Well, I wasn't prepared for that.
Huh?
I wasn't prepared for that.
For
John
what?
got.
Well, we haven't even announced to the people, to the person.
Oh, but
sorry.
this
We
is
haven't
like
even
2
announced
weeks
to the
from
person.
now.
We haven't announced to the person,
To the person who listens in Lithuania.
to the person who listens to this podcast, that the format of the podcast is changing.
Oh, there we go. I just did.
So
Surprise.
you just ruined the entire announcement.
This is the most authentic thing that could have happened on the podcast, by the way.
This is great. Okay, the one thing that I do want to say though is that I am infinitely glad and happy and thankful that I chose to show up tipsy when I did, because I didn't know that these changes were coming in. Can you imagine if I had let go of the opportunity to show up drunk to work? I did it, and I feel like I can pat myself on the back for that, and I'm very happy.
Don't let your drinking window close on the job out there, listeners, is what we're trying to tell you. So, Jonathan got a little glassy-eyed, an indication of some type of soul there for a second. I was frightened by it. It was like seeing your mother or father cry. You just don't know how to deal with it. So, John, you've got things going on. What's going on with you? How are we doing with the software development? You know, we got things happening there. What's that look like for you? How far off are we? We're doing great.
Going great.
Feeling good about it.
Great. Thank you for asking. Feeling good. Yeah, feeling good.
Am I personally going to love it? I want a personal guarantee. I want you to say on record right now, Ren Jones, you are going to love this. Do you feel
I can guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee, and I don't guarantee much.
You don't. It's not in your
I
nature.
don't guarantee much. I can say with 100% certainty, and
Okay.
very rarely do I ever say that anything has 100% certainty,
Right.
that you will have some sort of feelings towards it.
There will be some reaction to it.
Thank you, Jonathan. I feel bad for the electricity wasted on what we've done up to this point so far. I feel like we could have sent that electricity somewhere else. Maybe into space with Bezos. I don't know. Who wrote a giant? I'm not even gonna say it.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say it. But here's the thing. I'll toss this out here, and this is just hypothetical. Hypothetically, you're a billionaire, right? You can kind of sort of divide, and you go into space. You got the money. Mm-hmm. You got a design team. You can design your spacecraft any way that you want to.
Right.
In your mind, do you choose a penis? I'm just wondering. Like, I'm tossing it out there. It's a hypothetical situation. You got the choice of several shapes, and you say to yourself,
It's a phallus.
yeah,
You're gonna be like,
right,
it's a phallus
right,
for me.
right. Since I was a little boy, I dreamed of riding a giant penis out of the stratosphere. Am I the only one with that dream? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I've seen a lot of sci-fi movies. Seen a lot of rocket ships, played a lot of video games. I've never had $1 billion. I don't know the pressure that comes with that. I know how hard it is to make these types of decisions when you're running an organization that large. I don't. I just feel like penis-shaped aircraft is not the obvious choice. And that's just me. I'm just armchair quarterbacking here. I'm Monday morning quarterbacking. I'm not under the stress and pressure. I didn't have to make that split-second decision between probably 26 different iterations of spacecraft. So, I'm just surveying the team here. Like, what are your thoughts?
I am surprised that somebody didn't tap Bezos on the shoulder and be like, yo, I got something to tell you.
That was on purpose. But there was a petition for getting him not to come back to planet Earth. I think everybody was very excited about him leaving the planet in a penis-shaped rocket ship.
Oh, man. Anybody ever heard the song Afternoon Delight?
No.
Are you familiar with that song? Nobody?
Sky rockets in flight.
The Afternoon Delight.
Ooh, afternoon delight.
Yeah.
What? That is an actual song. Like somebody
That's-
actually made that song and those sounds, and then
that
they
song.
heard it. They heard
Yeah.
it back, and they were like, "This is great. The world needs this." And they
Afternoon
put it
Delight
out.
is a song about an encounter during the afternoon that's delightful for two consenting parties.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a real song. Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight. And I never thought that I would live to see the day that it was literally acted out. Like Jeff Bezos took that song and made it literal, and then he was like, "I've got the money to make this happen," and he took his skyrocket into flight in the shape of the same rocket from An Afternoon Delight. Good for you, Jeff Bezos. I can't wait till my shipment gets here today. So we've got a topic today that
Do we, though?
strangely does not involve penis-shaped rockets. And the topic is something that I know I've run into it in the academy, as they say. Amber may have also. She's nodding her head as she plows through another box of Cheez-Its. Amber's blood type is cheddar. So
That and caffeine.
cheddar and caffeine. I've got something for you all too. I need to get your addresses because I bought you something from Disney, and just literally just forgot to get your addresses to send you the things that. Because this is where my mind has been, and I'm old too, so that there's context there. But
That
in any
doesn't
case, it doesn't help. It certainly doesn't help. So what was I saying? See what I mean? So the topic. So something that we run into sometimes is, when clients aren't as present as you like for them to be as they're going through your program, but maybe they're on like auto billing, you're collecting their money. And if you're an inexperienced coach, you may feel as if, well, I don't know, feel sort of guilty for billing these people when they're not actively doing the thing, or at least I can't see. It's probably the key to this conversation.
Yes,
I
that
can't
is
see
one
the
of the
data
keys to
that.
this
Yeah,
conversation.
is this where I know this is where Jonathan's going to go with it. I can't see the data. Oh, looks like Susie didn't track her 3 workouts. She's not doing them, and it's time for us to renew. I feel uncomfortable with her being charged. I need to find a way not to bill her for doing exactly what I said I was going to do on time. Right? So, and I think I had this conversation with Jonathan early, probably before podcast. I don't know. I might have texted you or something or messaged you on the back channel in the annals of PTDC, as men often do. Always messaging Jonathan through the back channels of the annals of the PTDC. So, and you gave me some sage advice of that. About it. You were like, stop whining, bro. Like, grow up here. So that was his advice, and I took that advice to heart. That's and I've never forgot that lesson. But let's talk about this, because it's the topic. That's a good reason to talk about it on the show today. And we didn't come up with a better topic, so that's also
Let's
a good
talk
reason
about what
for
the
us to talk
problem
about.
is. I'm going to save you here.
What's the problem?
Let's talk about what the problem is.
Thank God you said something. I was grasping the straws there. I mean, you guys didn't see me
You were
drowning.
just
You're just gonna let me die out here.
You would tread
Keto
water,
didn't
your
care.
head kept popping up. Your head
Keto
kept
didn't
popping
care.
up
I'm
for a
just
little bit
watching
there.
this happen. I'm like wondering when it's gonna
Keto's
end.
like, look, that buoy is shaped like a human. Thanks for nothing, Keto. Just to let me drown on it. I'm sorry, Jonathan. Go ahead. Please continue.
Let's talk about the problem here. There's a few problems here. One of the problems is not appropriately understanding what you're offering a client and what you're
Right.
not, and communicating that to the client. Another problem is perhaps not having the best system to re-engage clients, motivational interviewing type techniques. And then the final problem here, and I'd love for Amber to talk about all of them because I'm just going to list what she's going to talk about, is
She's
if
so
you
excited.
can't see a client, you start making up stories in your own head about what's happening or not happening.
Right.
And that's when the stories that you make up in your own head can kind of run wild, and that's a pretty serious problem. And then the final thing to consider, not really a problem or not a problem, is it does not mean just because a client isn't checking in that you are not offering them value.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this comes down to the stories that you're making up in your own head. So I don't know, what do you want to start with?
Let's start with the stories. Start with what am I most likely to tell myself if I don't see a client checking in? Like I default to I'm failing. I don't know if anybody else thinks that way. And
Yeah, they're
Keto?
hating something about the process or about me. They're hating all of this, and it's my fault. Yeah.
And then I just go wild with that story. I can nearly quit the industry from just 10 minutes into that story, and I don't need to be a trainer, right? That's how far I can go with it. Kev, that's a lovely container that you're using there. Looks OTA-ish. So Jonathan, so what is the story that we most commonly tell, Jonathan or Amber, and why do we tell ourselves that story? Are we just not smart?
Well, what's the story that would say? No, let's hear from Amber. I mean, I can tell you a little bit from my perspective, but we all know that I don't really feel things. So I feel like this type of thing should come from somebody who feels things.
I mean, everything from I suck at what I do, they're humoring me. They only show up for calls because they have to, and so maybe they're not as helpful as I thought, or I'm not good enough. I mean, all of the things, and why they happen. I mean, it's human nature, but also imposter syndrome, also lack of experience. When we're first starting, you're going to doubt yourself. And I mean, years later, I still doubt myself. It comes in waves, and they pass quicker, than they used to, and they don't happen as often, but they still happen. And lack of clarity on our part. When we're first starting, we don't know what we're doing. We don't. No matter how well prepared you think you are, you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So you're still figuring things out, and that's okay. And so it makes it easier for anxiety and those fears to creep in. And the best way to handle that is to get control of what you're offering and making sure it's clear for you and for them, and that it's the right service, and getting feedback and working with your clients to make sure that the services that you're offering are actually what they need.
I love that. So, Kiddo, have you been through those? Have you been on that emotional roller coaster before of clients not checking in? Yeah.
Yeah, I think in any service industry, right? Because you can, like, anybody that works with the public will, if you're not getting the response that you're expecting, then you automatically default to, like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? How did I mess this up? And that's very much like normal human nature, I would imagine. But I think it's if we start catching ourselves in that train of thought and being like, okay, I'm making assumptions. This is me just making assumptions. So how about I stop that and just ask, like, hey, is everything okay? Because something could not be okay, right? There's 1,000 reasons why people ghost their coaches, and some are related to the coach. A lot of the times it has nothing to do with anything the coach did in particular. So
Almost
stop
never
making
has to do with
assumptions.
us.
Yeah, like, yep.
Right. Think about how much goes on in people's lives that you just don't know about. I can tell you from my own personal life right now that there's something very major going on in my life that I have not made public that is very serious. And nobody knows about it. Right? think about how many. I mean, everybody's got some. like,
Yeah.
like you just don't know. And it's rare that people make it kind of public, or certainly don't make it public, soon after it happens. And I think that it's always important to, number one, just be compassionate and understand that everybody's got their own stuff that's very important to them. That's probably pretty major, pretty serious, and we have to be respectful of that. And that's why the motivational interviewing thing, where what's the line? You got to make it okay for somebody to say stuff. If you're going to be somebody's coach, they've got to trust you. They've got to trust that they can say stuff to you, and you need to open up and make that okay, and not, you see on forums all of the time, like you see this type of question asked, my client isn't checking in, or hey, so and so asked for a refund, but I have a policy. Should I give it to them? And people are like, you have a policy, don't give it to them. And it's like,
Right.
you just. People who are in this for the long game understand that humans are humans, and humans have real lives, and you have to be respectful of that. And you have to bend but not break a lot of the time. And you have to really know what the full story is before you even begin to think about making any kind of a decision. That's the difference between a good coach and a bad coach. I'm not saying necessarily don't charge them or necessarily charge them. I'm saying you need to know what's going on. And right now, if you're asking this question, you probably don't.
Mm-hmm. That's 100% true. So, here's the thing about this particular situation is if you tell yourself a story, you're probably going to act on it in a way that's going to take you further from solution, right? You're not going to get closer to a solution with this particular challenge if you follow your own story down into the abyss. But there's something else that's interesting that you mentioned, Jonathan, about this particular problem as it pertains to, what the client's doing or what they're not doing. And that is that maybe your processes from even the start on through your training protocol, maybe they aren't good in the first place. Maybe you don't even have the opportunity to know what's going on because you don't have systematic processes in place for checking in throughout the journey that you're taking with the client. And in the online space specifically, where you don't see someone in person on a consistent basis, there's so much physical distance that it's that you have to have a really good way of sort of teasing out the information in spurts from a potential client. Amber, you can probably speak to this as well. Sort of, do we need some checkpoints during the week to be able to make sure that we're on task with our clients? And sort of the secondary thing to consider is the personality type that probably needs coaching is probably not the personality type that's very good at checking in and of themselves on their own accord, which is why in this area of their life, they probably need coaching. It's sort of something that's sort of par for the course. You got to expect it. Oh, they said they can't access my video. I hope you guys can still hear me. Oh, there we go. And I'm gone again. So Amber, sort of speak to that. Like,
I'm here. I'm gone. No, I'm here. No,
Yeah,
I'm gone. Hey, I'm here.
I'm back
I'm
again.
here. I'm here. I'm here. Gone.
Magic Man. Now you see me. Now you don't.
You're just retreating into the dark annals of the podcast. Annals.
Working in. I've gone into the back channels of the annals of the PTDC. As Amber gives us her best Macaulay Culkin Home Alone face with both hands on the sides of her cheeks. But Amber, speak to that. First of all, personality type for the people we're dealing with, probably not the greatest to checking in anyway. That's kind of why they need somebody to guide them through this. And second of all, can we better structure the check-ins with our clients? Might that solve some of the issue?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with we have to remember that our job is to be curious, right? And take our ego out of this process. When we say my client didn't check in, we take it as a personal affront. It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with them and their situation in their life and everything that's led them up to this point. And so your job is to be curious instead of saying, hey, they didn't check in. What's wrong with you? Well, they just didn't take it seriously enough or whatever. Be curious and find out why, right? So that's kind of the first thing, that your job is just to be insanely curious. And then what I've noticed with a lot of students is that we make things way complicated for our clients. And so, okay, I have a weekly email that goes out for a check-in, and then we have a call every week, and then we do a group call every month, and then I have a video check-in to check their form every 2 weeks. Like,
Right.
who has
Ain't
time
nobody
for all
got time
that,
for
y'all?
that.
Like, nobody has time for that.
Ain't nobody
So-
got time for that, man.
No, and when they sign up when they're at their most motivated, right? And so we need to figure out what works for them when their life is the most complicated. And so if you understand your ideal client really well, you have to account for all of that. What can they actually accomplish when they are at their worst, and how can I be there for them? And so be prepared to be a little bit flexible. Like, working moms, they don't want to be on a call because they're trying to hold a kid and all this stuff. Like, they don't want to do that. They're embarrassed because their house looks like shit.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
they got kids screaming in the back. They don't want to do that.
Allison,
know-
Allison does a couple things, and like the calls are inevitably at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday night. It's like, hell no, I'm not making that call. And if I am, like, I'm not paying attention to it. Like, who
Exactly.
made this? Like, the community meeting for a new playground in our community was 7 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You know who attended that call? Everybody in our community who doesn't have kids. Like, Allison and I were on it, like, busy at dinner, and like every single person who was on that call was elderly,
Yep.
talking about basically like stuff that doesn't matter to people who actually use the playground, because the organizers of the meeting organized it at a time when the people who were going to use the thing weren't going to be on it. Like, this just it showed such a complete and utter lack of understanding.
That's a great example.
I
So
love
funny.
to hear from Keto here, because she is a self-professed sort of, like, you're a non-conformist, Carol. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I'm like, what is he gonna say? What is he gonna say?
Yeah, I'm glad you received that as the compliment that it was intended to be. But if I told you, with your personality type, honestly, if I told you, hey, we're going to talk at 3:45 p.m. every single Wednesday for the rest of your life as a client, like, what's your reaction to that? Like, well, I know what your reaction is, but you just go ahead and answer the question.
Yeah, like I'm already figuring out ways to be busy at that time and then skip it. And I don't know, like, nap at that time. Like, it's just no, I don't know. Like, thank you, but no. So, yeah.
And that's not because you're not going to do your workouts. It's just because I've asked you to do something that does not align with who you are in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
Points back to what Jonathan just said. Knowing who your client is and what they're about can be really helpful. And here's the overarching question from me. Is there actual correlation between the client, using all the buttons and bells and whistles of your program versus them not getting a result from your program? Like, are those two things even in sync? Does it mean anything ultimately that you can't see that they're following the program? Does that make sense the way I'm asking the question? Like, if they're not doing all the check-ins, does that mean categorically across the board, they're not doing any of it and they're not getting any value? Or is that just in our head?
That's in our head 100%. Like, it's irrelevant. because I know that sometimes I work really well on my own and sometimes I need support and I will seek for that support. But just because I'm checked out from asking for support doesn't mean, like, maybe I'm just so focused on killing it on my own, like I'm thriving here, so I'm too busy to even ask you for help or tell you how I'm doing. So then, like, no, it's completely unrelated for sure.
Something I hear a lot of trainers will say, like, oh, I like to keep clients, but then I want to release them. I don't want to keep them forever, right? But do you mean it? Because if they need you that much all the time, have you even given them the skills and the resources that they need to do the work? Because, I mean, the goal should be to help them do the work so they can, and they don't need to be in your pocket all of the time. So if you really feel that way, then it's not necessarily a bad thing that they're not reaching out every time, assuming that they have the skills that they need to do the work. So just keep in mind that you're here for them as they need, and kind of like Netflix, right? Yeah, you're like
What's
Netflix. Okay, what channel do I need today, and what kind of help do I need today? And sometimes I feel like binging, Criminal Minds, and like sometimes it's something else. So like, and it's
your
one
job.
episode.
Your job is to get them whatever result they desire. Your job isn't to sit on the phone with them.
Right.
Your job isn't to message back and forth with them. Those are ways that may at times selectively help them achieve what they desire, but how they get there is kind of irrelevant. If you help them get there, you've done your job. It doesn't matter what you decided arbitrarily in solitude, what you decided you wanted to offer in a perfect situation. That's completely irrelevant.
But
The
Yeah,
trainer's
and then I
job is
think
to give the
too-
client what they need when they need it to get to where they need to be.
I think there's a little bit of overlap too with the conversations about intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Like, oh, my client should be intrinsically motivated to do the thing and to reach out when they need it and to do the work. I'm like, that sounds great. But at the same time, like, for me, if you tell me, hey, and on top of everything else, there's this thing that you can win for doing, I'm like, woo! Like, my brain is like, yes, let's do this thing, because I am extrinsically motivated too. And why would that be a bad thing? And how many of your clients function like that too? And that if you offer the possibility of being selected as the winner of whatever thanks to their efforts, that would entirely change the way that they focus and they connect with your program, because it's a thing. Like, our brains respond to that kind of stimulus. So are you using that to your advantage?
And how important is it to figure this all out as quickly as possible? Like, does an initial just in your enrollment process, in your if you're doing a kickoff call, or if you're having an enrollment conversation, or let's get started meeting, or whatever you're going to have, like, can I just ask as a coach? Can I just say, hey, just want to make sure you get the best results here? What do you feel like will be the best way for us to go about this? Do you like sort of constant contact to make sure that you're involved, or do I need to be a little bit more hands off here? Like, is it okay just to figure that out in the beginning? Is that acceptable? Or must I know all, as the great and powerful Oz, before anybody enrolls in my program, because I'm so perfect as a coach? I know everything. Like, what are your thoughts there?
Everybody was
Anybody?
I thought Jonathan was going to say something. I was waiting for it. No, of course you can't know everything. Just ask them.
Right. Jonathan, is that sort of your approach too?
Yes. What are we talking about?
Good talk, Jonathan.
Great.
Amber, do you feel the same way?
To an extent, yes. The difference for me would be, I don't trust when people say that they know what they need.
Right.
So I'm going to take an educated guess
Mm-hmm.
and test it, get feedback, check the validity of the feedback, tweak, repeat. Because if I try to let every single person dictate everything in my business, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. So I'm going to go based off of what I do know, based off of conversations I've had with past, current, whatever clients, test it out for a while, get feedback, make tweaks if I think it's necessary. And, just not all feedback is good feedback, and frequency of feedback is important as well. Like if you're hearing it all the time, maybe it's worth looking into. But if it's a one-off, probably not so much. So I would, because I can get overwhelmed easily, that would be my approach. But that's just my method.
Right. So speaking of penises, you could approach this thing like a rocket ship, where initially you have this protection, right? You got your booster rockets on the side. So when you first start, here's how we start our first month together. I'm going to be very, very, very much in tune with what you've got going on. We're going to check in a lot just at the start to make sure we give you support at the beginning. And then as we go through the first phase of what we're doing, you'll graduate out of that process. And at that point, I'm going to make things available to you that are not necessarily mandatory. I just want to get you past that first phase and then give you a little bit more choice. Let you win your freedom, or you get to graduate, or when you get to this stage, you get to not do this and that. Like, is that a viable way to approach that with the client? Let them prove that in the beginning that they are capable of doing it to a certain extent, and then sort of unloosen the shackles as they go through, and give them a little bit more freedom at a time to allow them to empower themselves over time. Is that reasonable?
It's certainly an option. I mean, that would certainly work with certain clients. Again, I would, sorry, dogs.
That's all right.
Would be.
That's not
That was
me,
really
by the way, on
loud.
the podcast. Yeah, I was
know.
not.
Lincoln
I
had
was
a lot
not
to
barking at Amber while she talked. My mother raised me better than that.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But what would it
it's
look
on
like
brand.
if we're simple, right? So like,
Yeah.
why would we even put that on them, right? Why would we put that in their head? For my demographic, that would stress them out, and then like it almost becomes a bar that they have to jump, and they already have enough crap that they have to do, and so for my demographic, that would stress them out. For someone else, that might be great. It's something to accomplish. It's it's this thing that they can shoot for. So knowing your ideal client, I mean, that's kind of part of it, but I would
Right.
I keep it simple, and then if you have a client that needs extra, you budget that into your time and you budget that into your packages. Like I always add a little bit of extra time into my packages so I can over deliver if needed.
That makes sense.
I just took a look at the picture of this rocket ship.
So on
It's a
topic,
penis.
yes.
There was no way that this was not on purpose.
Right,
It is.
right.
It had to be, yes, calculated. Yeah.
I mean,
So
Dude.
clearly a massive penis that they shot up
that's
into
all it
space.
is. That's all it is. And this
It's-
had to go through a design team.
There's
Somebody
no way
had
that
to
that's
say
the most
yes.
aerodynamic, efficient structure that
No
they
way.
could have built. Like there's even a
No
lip.
way.
Like it's a circumcised penis.
Right.
Like it's not a regular
Exactly.
penis. It's a circumcised penis.
It's been clipped. There's no
Yes.
question about that.
Oh,
I don't know if.
Well, it might not. It might actually not be circumcised. Maybe when they blast off, the pressure kind of pulls the foreskin down.
Could be. I don't know. It's not. It's not possible that it was a mistake. It's just not.
No, it really got like. This got to go in the show notes.
There were it needs to be. There were aeronautical engineers at some point in this process sketching out giant penises, and that's just how it went down. And
I feel like you know what it was. They were sketching out the blueprints. They were doing their job and making rockets or however you sketch out rockets. And then the class clown came and just drew penises on everything.
right.
And then they just made a mistake and just made the wrong one.
Or perhaps Bezos himself came in and did a Christopher Walken sort of cowbell sketch. With if you've ever seen the Saturday Night Live cowbell sketch with Christopher Walken, and he was just
Need more penis?
I,
Yeah.
I need more penis. You don't. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more penis. And he Bezos just came. Keto's disgusted, but she cannot look away.
No, this is a train wreck.
You're welcome, Keto. you get to go off on this note.
Yes, thank you. I'm so happy that I got to be here to witness the words rocket ship, foreskin being mentioned in my presence. By the way, I feel like that would be a great name for a band. So somebody take that and run with it. Yeah, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
Would it be foreskin rocket ship or rocket ship foreskin? I don't know which one which one do you think sells the most records here?
There's your next Instagram story poll there.
There you go. Yeah, I need to do a poll. I did so many surveys last month. That's my next survey. So, and I'll include a picture of the rocket ship. So you guys have tuned in to another captivating, if not informative, episode of the Online Trainer Show. It doesn't get any better than this, folks. And you didn't even pay for this. So remember that. This is the best free fun that you can have on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And then walk away well-informed. And you know, we're pushing you into a money-making lane through the back annals of the PTDC. You're welcome. As we take our rocket ship to space, Afternoon Delight. There's show notes. And you're gonna want to see these.
You're gonna want to see these.
You're gonna want to see the show notes from this one. They can be found at onlinetrainer.com, probably /podcast. I don't know. And this spectacular episode of the Online Trainer Show was sponsored in full by the Online Trainer Academy. Coach your clients responsibly and profitably online with the Online Trainer Academy. www, as they say, .onlinetrainer.com/OTA. We're ready to believe in you. Bang Zoom to the moon, Alice. Let's jingle it out.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.